Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God.
Discussing pimps in the pulpit.
I would respect the pastor if he said, you know what, I'm a successful business person. I'm just teaching the word of the Lord because I believe in it.
Yeah.
Every now and then you find one that they're not really making a lot of money doing that, but they really are doing it because that's something they believe in, and they're actually helping people, and they're using their church to help people, empower people. See, because I don't have a problem, from my standpoint, on the outside looking in, I don't have a problem with a pastor making, whatever, and driving whatever, especially if their contribution is immense.
Right.
Yeah, why if a pastor has built up an entire infrastructure around the church, or provided leaders in the community, provided jobs, provided inspiration for people to go out and serve the community, why should they drive a hoopty? I'm not saying that. But if you're going to be somebody like Joel Osteen, a lot of these other folks, I mean, that's what I'm saying, because I had a friend that watched Joel Osteen all the time. I said, you watch Joel Osteen for real? And I'm just here as an example, because this is not practicing what you would associate with somebody that's spiritual. Maybe he's religious, maybe they're not spiritual. Because during that flood, he closed his church.
Stop by and be a part of one of our services. I promise you, we'll make you feel right at home.
Televangelist Joel Osteen is taking major heat, accused of refusing to open the doors of his Houston megachurch to flood victims. On Sunday, he tweeted that his 17,000-seat church was inaccessible due to flood conditions. But social media lit up with contrary information.
The church was closed, and only when they were broadly and widely and internationally criticized it, after it was pretty much over. Okay, we'll open it up. He kind of threw a carrot out there or whatever, saying, okay, it's too late.
And in terms of the church, I know a lot of people there were wondering, with this big furniture store letting people sleep on his couch, how was it that the pastor wasn't allowing people into the church? When you got there, what did you see?
Yeah, Steve, and you know what, let me make this point, and you know me, I'm a God-fearing man, and I actually have read Mr. Osteen's books before, and I live about a mile away, and I kept hearing that it was open, because I'm sitting here thinking, because I've spent 3 days in my truck, loading up my truck, not as a pat on the back, but driving around my community, and you know me, trying to see if somebody was stranded, if I could take them in or we could take them somewhere. And I kept hearing about shelters that were overflowing and needed places, the convention center. And then I heard somebody say, well, what's Joel Osteen doing? His building's flooded. And I simply drove my truck in front of the building, parked there, walked around, looked inside, took video. It wasn't to out anybody. I was just trying to find out and let people know that maybe this is a man who on Sunday fills it with 16,000 people and preaches, the unconditional love, which is great, that maybe he could open his doors.
You'd already let everybody know. After you took all this money to build this opulent palace, and you live this lifestyle, and you probably got private jets, so on and so forth. When the people really need, you weren't there for them.
We used to have some, not me, growing up in the South. A lot of my folks are from the South. Actually, I'm the only one from Detroit. And they used to tell me, at family reunions or whatever, hey, you got to watch this. And it's always a pastor. It's always a pastor. Anytime I go down south, even to this day, I went down south, you got to watch them. That person is heaven sent, hell bound. And they would tell me that because it was sort of like, hey, watch this type of person. Joel Osteen did come up. Like, I got criticism. I got flack because I go to a megachurch. Theoretically it is a megachurch, but straight gate on the west side. And I get a chance to see them do stuff. I get a chance to see the outpouring of the community. But however, it's gotten, to some degree, ruined by the other people who had that type of status, or somewhere near that status, where it was whether it be Creflo or whether it be Joel Osteen or people like them. If you remember way back in the day, what was it, Jimmy Swaggart and guys like that. So that's where my whole thing is, it's inevitable. Because for whatever, everyone wants to be a part of something good. For every success has many parents. Failures will always be orphaned. And when you, feel free to use that. I feel good about that one. When you do that, because we are being a part of something. What better team to be on? Because God sent me, capital G, sent me to do this thing. But how do we know that? How do we know you ain't getting off the back end? The best, I like how you said when people ain't getting paid for it. That's one way of looking at it. But sometimes the best example of behaviors when you ain't being watched.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you still keep that same
Yeah,
level,
that-
or do you still
right.
keep that same level of decorum? We joked about it earlier. I'm opening doors for old ladies and all this other good stuff. Ain't nobody watching me. It's just sort of like, all right, I'm just doing it because that's why I did it. Yes, do I smell like Old Spice when I do it? Of course. But that's just my brand. That's just what it is. But what I'm getting at is, no one's asking me. I don't get a thumbs up. I don't get an A+ grade. I don't get anything from this person. I just did it from the goodness of my heart. So since I'm doing it that way, there is a way of doing that. Meanwhile, when you're, whether it be a mega church or people who hold you in high regard, if you're not doing what you, or if you're not practicing what you preach, I'm glad I said it that way, pun intended. If you're not practicing what you preach, what good are you? Because we could pay you whatever salary you want, we could give you whatever. It's inevitable because it is a weird form of power. It's a weird thing. And sometimes we as humans, we make mistakes. But we gave this person this thing, now we just kind of stuck with them.
Well, that's my whole thing is
without correction, I should say.
Right. If I see them doing it, because I'm an adult and I can think for myself, and I'm a critical thinker. So when I see somebody doing the work, they may deserve whatever financial goes along with the work. But if you're not doing the work, it's really not worth it. I'm not going to invest anything in you. Something that you mentioned is similar to the difference between character and reputation. Character is who, reputation is who people think you are. Character is who you are. Another difference, like you say, what's done is the stuff people don't see.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's one way of looking at it. And a lot of times people, that's the same reason they watch movies and that type of thing, that they may feed into whatever the ideology of these pulpit pimps is.
Oh, which is supposed to be. I get it.
Yeah, they want, that takes away like a lot of hope. And I remember they want to believe in something. But I mean, the first thing you got to believe in is yourself. Faith without works is dead.
James 2:14, 15, 16, 17. What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith, and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, Depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled, notwithstanding ye give them not those things which are needful to the body, what doth it profit? Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead.
If you believe,
Yeah.
if you're going to take that from the book, my mother always talked about Reverend Ike.
And where Paul says when he met Peter, he rebuked him to his face concerning certain religious doctrines which they disagreed on. And if the Apostle Paul could disagree with the Apostle Peter, I certainly can straighten out Paul. So what I'm saying is there is precedent in Scripture where apostles disagree. And I'm disagreeing with Paul that the love of money is the root of all evil, and I change one word, the lack of money is the root of all evil. So I'm not out of scriptural precedent. But I am probably like about the first person, the first evangelist, let's say, of international note, who had the nerve to stand up and dispute the apostle.
And that's when I learned
I've
quite a
never
bit.
been named so long. But
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, but she made it really plain with him, which is what Reverend Ike was once asked, what are you doing to help the poor? And he said, not being one of them. If that does not describe the mentality of the pulpit pimps, I really don't know what is. So if you're the type of person where you have somebody saying something like that, and they say, well, in order for you to be blessed, you got to send the money and all these other things, and you fall into that, I mean, it is what it is. You're just kind of a gullible. One thing I don't like is hearing, I know the celebrities and some of these preachers and so on and so forth in households, I hear sometimes in relationships that the guy I trust and have a lot of respect for was saying that if the pastor tells the woman to do something with their wife or something, they hear that, then they're willing to do it, but sometimes don't even listen to the man that's beside them, right next to them, celebrities. We're taught a lot of times a lot of anti-us hatred and enmity. So.
Well, yeah, that comes up because it's sort of like.
But I guess what I'm saying is, when I'm talking about something a little bit a different talk about the influences because these people are driving this or they're living here, the church looks this way or that way. When a person speaks, they're supposed to have this level of credibility, and sometimes the households, what the pastor says has more credibility than the person that you're in the trenches with every single day. And I don't think that's correct. Or like when somebody hits their mate with, the pastor said this, the pastor said also with that, and you're hearing all that.
But you ain't here every day.
Yeah, but you don't. But honey, are you married to the pastor?